Six Flags America is a now defunct amusement park located in Bowie, Maryland. The park sat right outside of Washington, D.C., and a 45-minute drive from Baltimore. The park closed permanently following the 2025 season. The park opened in 1974 as a drive-through safari called Largo's Wildlife Preserve. The drive-through safari closed in 1978, and then in 1979, it was bought by Jim Fowler's Wild Kingdom and converted the drive-through safari into a theme park and was renamed Wild World. In 1992, the park was renamed to Adventure World after Premier Parks acquired the park, and in 1999, Premier Parks then acquired Six Flags and renamed it to Six Flags America. Between 1995 and 2001, the park added 7 new roller coasters, and from 2002 till its closure in 2025, the park only added 2 roller coasters, and those 2 were not even new. They were both relocations. Throughout the 2010s and even into the early 2020s, the park started to gain a negative reputation. People started to criticize it as a lower-end Six Flags park. In summer 2024, Six Flags merged with Cedar Fair, and that created the Six Flags Entertainment Corporation. And that's when the company had thoughts in their back of their mind about closing parks. And then on May 1st, 2025, the company made an announcement that Six Flags America would close following the 2025 season. I got to visit this park only once, and that was at the end of May of 2025. As soon as I found out that the park was closing, I also made a parking lot trip in 2022. I was going to spend the day here, but I found out the park was going to be closed due to inclement weather. And even though you can't visit this park anymore, I still wanted to do a review on this park, on the roller coasters and rides, and what you would expect if this park was still open, and talk about my thoughts on the park. During the 2025 season, the park had 9 roller coasters in operation. When you think of a park having 9 roller coasters, you probably look at it as having a pretty good lineup. Unfortunately, this park only had 2 pretty good rides, and nothing really stood out. Superman Ride of Steel was the crown jewel of the park. It's an intimate mega coaster. The ride has the same layout as Ride of Steel, located at Six Flags Darien Lake. Really fun ride. If you missed out on riding Superman Ride of Steel, you could still head on over to Darien Lake. Joker's Jinx is a Premier Ride spaghetti bowl coaster, another really fun ride. You could still ride these types of rides at other Six Flags parks. Poltergeist at Six Flags Fiesta Texas features an outdoor version similar to Joker's Jinx, and there's 2 indoor versions. Both coasters named Flight of Fair located at Kings Island and Kings Dominion. Batwing is a Vekoma Flying Dutchman, the last one ever to operate. Unfortunately, I never got to ride it, but I heard this ride was a hit and miss. Some people liked it, and some others didn't. I rode 2 other Flying Dutchmans before both of those closed down, and I actually really liked those rides. So I probably would have liked Batwing if I rode it. Wild One is a classic wooden coaster. Kind of sad that this ride won't likely find a new home since this ride is over 100 years old, and I thought the ride was okay. It really didn't do a lot to me, unlike others that really like it. Another wooden roller coaster in the park I found okay was Roar. This is a GCI wooden roller coaster, one of the first GCIs, and I wish this ride had gotten arm seat. Another okay ride that didn't do much. It's strange that this ride had PTC trains though. Professor Screenmore is a Vekoma SLC. I actually thought it wasn't that bad. The ride did have the newer trains, which made it better. However, a ride that I thought was pretty bad was Firebird. Yeah, ouch. This is a B&M floorless, and this is the B&M's first ever project. It opened in 1990 as Iron Wolf at Six Flags Great America, which was a stand-up at the time. Then it was relocated to Six Flags America, still as a stand-up, and renamed Apocalypse. And then in 2019, the ride got floorless trains and got renamed Firebird. I did like the theme for Firebird, but the ride experience, absolutely not. The park had 2 smaller rides. Raging Cajun is a spinning wild mouse by Reverchon, another relocation roller coaster that was introduced to the park in 2014. Another coaster previously operated at Six Flags Great America, and their kids coaster was named Great Chase. That was a Zamperla family coaster. The park seemed to have a lot of newer flat rides. Their Zamperla Nebulets only lasted for 2 seasons. The ride was introduced for the 2024 season as part of their newly themed Steamtown section. Hopefully this ride finds a new home because a lot of parks could use a ride like this. Another ride that a lot of parks could use is a Zamperla Giant Discovery that this park had. It was named Harley Quinn Spinsanity, and it debuted for the 2021 season. And Wonder Woman Lasso of Truth, a fun time Starflyer debuting in 2017. Another ride that could be used at another park. Other flat rides that they had were flying scooters, a swing ride, teacups. Like, I think most of these flat rides, new and old, could find new homes. Now let's talk about the experience and how you would get there. Really similar to Great Adventure, there's highways near the park, but the park isn't off a highway. It's off a major route in a busy area. And the parking lot was pretty close to the main entrance. Like, you didn't have to worry about walking long distances from your car to the main entrance, unlike a lot of other parks. The main entrance had that same colonial look as the entrance at Six Flags New England. I really liked the front of the park. It really looked nice, and it's really themed colonial. You got the Liberty Bell at the front of the entrance. Like, I thought the front of the park was actually the best looking area in the park. You go further back into the park and all these paths split up. If you keep going further back, you'll reach the Gotham City section of the park, home to Superman Ride of Steel, Batwing, and Joker's Jinx. And I noticed that there was a lot of empty land in that area. Like, I know there's an empty plot between Superman and Batwing. Like, you could put in a decent flat ride in there. Also next to Gotham City area was Whistle Stop Park. That seemed to actually be closed since 2022. I don't know why it was closed for all these years. I don't know if staffing has to do with that. And going back to the front and in the middle section of the park, they call this the Chesapeake area, which I really didn't notice theming. Mardi Gras is the same. However, their newly themed Steamtown section actually looked really nice. So overall thoughts, this was a park that absolutely deserved more. The park was situated in a busy, populated area. With the addition of 7 new roller coasters from 1995 to 2001, the chain basically stopped adding something new to this park. They got 2 relocations and they added new flat rides, which I don't think are bad additions. I would love to see Roar Arm Seed or a Raptor or even a Vekoma Super Boomerang model, really similar to the Flash at Great Adventure. The park definitely had some pros and cons. The pros are the 2 roller coasters that I rode. Like I said, I really liked Superman and Joker's Jinx, and I would love for those rides to find new homes, but it's pretty expensive to transfer all the track and supports to another park. I think those rides will be used for parts. Another pro is the look at the front of the park. It just looked nice, and I thought the front of the park looked better than the front of at Six Flags New England. Like, I would love to see some of this stuff get sent to Six Flags New England. Cons are the operations, and I knew about this going in. We went on a Friday at the end of May, and it wasn't a busy day, but there were tons of school groups. A lot of roller coasters running one train, and I think Wild One was running 2. I think the biggest upset about this park that I experienced during my visit was the amount of food stands open. There were 2 open the entire day. It was the cafe at the front of the park and Johnny Rockets in the park. All the other stands were closed, which created these massive long lines to get food, almost sometimes to an hour. I thought the food here was okay. I had a pizza and salad, and I thought the salad was pretty dry. I really wish Six Flags took better care of this park. I didn't think the park was a terrible park, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. There were definitely some rundown spots, some areas didn't look good as others, and I didn't think the clientele was that bad. I thought this park had better clientele than my experience at Six Flags Over Georgia, and I thought every person we interacted with were pretty nice. So that is it with my review with Six Flags America that was located in Bowie, Maryland. If you've been to Six Flags America, I would like to hear your thoughts on this park and if you agree with everything what I said. And stay tuned for more Coastermonium videos, and I'll catch you guys later.